We're live in the studios, Liberal Senator Sarah Henderson. Thanks for your time. This news poll today, last week of the year, is Susan Lee's leadership safe?
Well, Kieran, this is my regular spot, so I don't want to make it look like I'm just popping up every time there is a news poll. Look, clearly we have got a lot of very hard work to do. The poll today is a bit grim, but we are up for the challenge. We've made a very significant announcement with our emissions reduction, lower energy prices proposal that we have. We're getting rid of net zero. And so we are really starting to power forward with important policies in the best interests of all Australians.
And do you think it's going to take a few months before that starts to show some evidence of a turnaround politically?
Well, we've only just announced that policy, and now we've got to go out and really fight for it and fight for all Australians, including Victorians. And the rights of farmers and regional communities are totally being compromised. So part of our package is to include a community first proposal that no Commonwealth funding will be used on any new electricity infrastructure project that's high voltage transmission lines and solar and wind without meeting the highest community standards. So we've got to get out and fight for those policies and really fight for all the communities we represent.
Is there any appetite, though, for a change in the leadership this week before we go to Christmas?
Look, I'm not going to comment on those things. I mean, I made some comments a few weeks ago, Kieran. I know it's a difficult time.
Yeah.
We've got a very big mountain to climb. We've got a lot of work to do to win back the trust and faith of all Australians. Clearly, there's lots of speculation, but I'm not going to add to it.
My colleague Andrew Clennell reported at the weekend that you wouldn't be moving anything. Is that fair to say? You're not going to be the catalyst for anything this week, are you?
I did see that comment from Andrew Clennell on his show yesterday morning. He didn't ring me about it, so I don't know where that has come from. But I certainly have no plans to do anything this week other than to prosecute really good policy in the best interests of the Coalition and all Australians. And of course,
so he was right then. He was accurate.
Well, he didn't ask me about it, but yes.
Must have had another good source then.
I am just focusing on the important work that I'm doing on behalf of all Victorians, including, of course, we've now really embarrassed the government over the Defence Honours Bill that's been withdrawn from the Senate, a terrible proposal by this government to not recognise acts of courage and honour by serving ADF members and also veterans. They really tried to diminish our ADF members and veterans, and we've had a very big win in the Senate.
So your focus is just on the policy this week? There won't be any discussion from your...
I am, as I say, Kieran, you're being very provocative here. I am just focusing on the important work that I'm doing as a Victorian Senator.
Okay. Well, that's good clarity. Now, I want to ask you, it's an important day, important week, I should say, in the context of Susan Lee speaking today about, and obviously it's close to many of our hearts when you think about the terrible scourge of domestic violence in this country, treatment of women, the elimination of violence against women. It is a crucial thing that the country needs to change and deal with. And you've also got concerns in terms of in light of the International Day of the Elimination of Violence Against Women, more broadly in terms of the definition under the Sex Discrimination Act as well of who a woman is.
Well, that's right. So, I mean, domestic violence is a scourge in our country, and we did a power of work when we were last in government, but there is more hard work to do. And following the decision by the Federal Court in the Giggle versus Tickle case, and that found that Sal Grover had no right to run a women's only app because now basically the Sex Discrimination Act has removed the definition of a woman from the Act. It was established to protect women, and now women have almost been expunged from the Act, not helped by the Australian Human Rights Commission, which is no longer standing for women. So it's all about extreme gender identity activism. And
so what needs to happen then?
Well,
would you want legislation to clarify?
So based on the current interpretation of the Act, I think we do need to change the law, but this particular decision is under appeal. The bottom line is that women need to have rights. the right to for their spaces to be protected, even the right not to have biological men in women's jails, the right of women and girls to compete against each other in sport. And look at little 11-year-old Emily from Melbourne, who came third against a transgender student, and now she's been denied the opportunity to run against girls in an athletic carnival. So, I mean, this stuff is just out of control. There is no common sense, and we need to restore common sense to the law so that women and girls are properly protected.
And you'll be making that case internally, yep?
I've been making that case internally, and I'm really going to be ramping it up. Some other wonderful Liberal women have done a great deal of work in this regard. Claire Chandler, Moira Deeming. And so we need, if this does not change in terms of what the federal court is doing with its appeal, then we need to change the law. And I cannot believe that the Albanese government is doing nothing on this. We've got the Lesbian Action Group also in the federal court now because they have no right to hold a women's only event. I mean, it is just crazy. It's out of control. And the Australian Human Rights Commission, as far as I'm concerned, has to go. They are doing an appalling job standing up for the rights of women.
Liberal Senator Sarah Henderson, thanks. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Kieran.